Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Controversy in the Paul Carson studio. Apparently, 2 goals, 2 playoff goals. And what was it last night?
12 seconds. Quickest 2 playoff goals in Canucks playoff history.
Or were they? We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
All of our guests today, including Elliotte Friedman, standing by. Sponsored by Passant Motors. Ready to find your next vehicle? Visit Passant Motors today to experience the difference for yourself. The friendly team looks forward to helping you drive home in the perfect vehicle for your needs and budget. Your road to the perfect ride starts here as we bring in, from Hockey Night in Canada, 32 Thoughts podcast, in studio a few days ago, Elliotte Friedman. Elliotte, thanks so much for doing this, sir. How are you?
Wait a sec. So are you guys questioning that those weren't the 2 fastest goals in Canucks playoff history? Is there something going on here?
Well, it's not us questioning. It's pretty much every viewer and listener that we have, Elliotte. So we're going to get that information out a little bit later. We're rarely wrong on the show.
I was curious about this. Okay, I look forward to hearing what the controversy is.
Hey, how much did you know of Dakota Joshua before the Canucks signed him in 2022? 2 goals, 1 assist last night.
Well, you know what? I kind of liked him in flashes in St. Louis. I thought there was a good player there. Obviously, you have to have a coach who believes in you, and you have to get into a position that works for you. And, I think the one thing, this just shows what an inexact science that drafting or signing players at a young age is. Some players take longer to get there. And but the thing is that clearly you have a coach here, Rick Tocchet, who believes in him. Clearly you have an organization who believes in him. He's getting to consistently play with good players. And whether it's a better understanding of what he needs to do or simply more experience, it's the perfect time at the right time. And, obviously I thought he was great last night. I thought a lot of Canucks were great last night. And the thing about the playoffs is, it's 1 game. Now you got to do it again for, up to 27 more. But nothing that has happened this season would make me worry about Dakota Joshua's readiness just about every single night.
Elliot, it just seems like, yesterday that everybody was talking about how the big, tough defenseman was going to be a thing of the past in the National Hockey League, that NHL rosters would be full of smaller, mobile defensemen. Certainly isn't the case in Vancouver right now, and it's been effective. Same with Vegas winning the Stanley Cup last year. Is there a perfect mix on the blue line for NHL teams these days?
I think this, honestly, Don, is that if you are going to go smaller, it has to be with players like Quinn Hughes. I think that there would be, if you actually, Don, you have to go back. If you go back to the 2022 Stanley Cup final, I remember somebody told me to watch it really carefully, and that year was Colorado-Tampa, and Colorado won. And they pointed out that for the Avalanche and the Lightning, if you look at all the defensemen who played in that series and you look at their heights and weights listed, and we know those aren't always accurate, but the smallest guy there was Cale Makar. I think he was 5'11", 207. Everybody else was taller and heavier than he was. And you can't, that doesn't mean that you can just be a stiff. You have to be mobile. You have to be able to skate. But what it does is allows you to build a fence, basically around your defensive zone or in your defensive zone, that no matter what happens, there's always someone there or a stick there or a leg there or an arm there. You fight to get away from one person and something from another person is there. And, I think that that is the key. Honestly, Don, is that you have to be big and you have to be mobile. Now, if you look, obviously Tampa Bay won like that, Colorado won like that, Vegas won like that. I think the thing about Quinn Hughes is that Hughes is unique. I don't think teams can go in there and say we can have that kind of player unless they're at his level. And I think that that's one thing that the Canucks have recognized that he is unique, he is different, and even though he's a little bit smaller, that you can look at him and say we can still win with him because of his incredible skill set and his will. He has willed himself to be one of the best players in the league, and you can always find room for guys like that, no matter what their size is.
Elliotte, amazing what a couple of weeks difference makes. People ripping Lindholm 2-3 weeks ago. Now he's you know what? Everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. Great game last night. He's been playing really well since he came back from his injury. What about Lindholm's play and his future in Vancouver? Your thoughts?
Well, I know that you were leading the charge, Rick. Like you were the head of the anti.
No, I was not.
Club.
No, I was not.
I think the thing is, it's pretty clear here with the Canucks, Rick, that they had a plan, and the plan was, we know we're going to make the playoffs. And we're going to make sure that everybody who's banged up, and I think you guys have a few guys banged up, but we're going to make sure that we prepare them in a way, we're going to plan in a way that they will be in optimal position for the playoffs. Like, I think Demko, he wanted to play before he did, but they were like, nope, there's a bigger picture here, and this is what we're going to do. And he bought in, and he was tremendous last night. I think it was similar with Lindholm. I think they said to him, and he knew too, look, we need you optimal for the playoffs. You need yourself to be optimal for the playoffs. It is your best interest to be in the best position to be successful once the puck drops for game one. And he bought in. And, I think the one thing I really believe very strongly, Rick, is that no matter what happens to you in the regular season, you can rewrite your story in the playoffs. You can play 82 games and have no points, or you can have 82 games and let in 1,000 goals. But if the playoffs start and you're better, everybody forgets. They just say, okay, playoffs, he's ready. Now, that was a bad goal last night. There's 99 times out of 100, Saros doesn't let it up. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is he did. And that's a great thing for Lindholm. And the other thing, too, about Lindholm is since he's played, he's been really good defensively. And that's important because defense is effort. But if that gives him some confidence last night, that's a great thing for you guys and him.
Elliotte, hate to see if the Canucks would have lost 5-1 last night, like the Maple Leafs did. Your thoughts on the opener in Boston and Nylander? What's going on with his injury, Elliotte?
I have theories. I've said this a couple times in the last 24 hours. I think it's really irresponsible to guess at this time of year. I do not believe this was a disciplinary action. I know that rumor's been flying around. I do not believe that. I do think there is an injury involved. But, one thing that has been flying around is that I don't think that the Maple Leafs believe that there was any reason he shouldn't have played at the end of the regular season. If you look at what Toronto did, they rested a lot of guys, including Max Domi. If there was anyone they thought was hurt, they took them out of the lineup. So I don't believe that this, like people have wanted to play, get 100 points, even though he shouldn't have been playing. I don't think that was the case. But what I do think, Rick, is I think it's really thrown them. I think that this has caught them by surprise, both the organization and the teammates. I think something happened after game 82 that he just doesn't feel right. Yesterday, I didn't think he was going to play game one based on everything I heard. I thought yesterday he was going to play game two. Now I'm not so sure. I don't know that I'm expecting him to play tonight.
Oh, wow.
I guess we'll see in about 5 hours. But I just think that this has turned into an unnecessary distraction. And it's not something that they needed. They didn't play very well in game one, obviously. They were wired. They were a little too overexcited. You can fix that. But, the Bruins are smart. That's a high IQ team. And you have to play them smart. And the other thing, too, is with Nylander, whether you like him or you hate him, and I know he's a polarizing guy, he has a skill set that you need against him. And they really struggled without him.
Elliotte, two very good teams, one of whom are going to be eliminated. Do you have a read on Vegas versus Dallas, game one tonight?
Well, I honestly think, Don, that Dallas is the best 1-20 team in the NHL. Now that Ottinger's going, I think they're the best 1-20 team in the NHL. But, it's the defending Stanley Cup champions. I've had a couple of people send me some notes this week that Vegas's underlying numbers this year haven't been very good. They haven't trended as well as they have in the past, but they're still Vegas. They're still defending Stanley Cup champions, and they've got a few Hall of Famers up and down their lineup. I actually thought for all the air that Stone's injury got, the bigger one for me was Pietrangelo. If he was not healthy to play, I'd be really worried about them. I think Dallas is the better team, but we all know Vegas is going to give them a fight.
Okay, and before I let you go, Elliotte, very quickly, this is the first time we've had you on in a while. Last time was when you were in studio. Is the NHL really going to go back to Phoenix one day?
Yes. If they get a building built, they're going back. They're going back. Like Gary Bettman, nobody has fought for me in my life like Gary Bettman has fought for Phoenix. I wish I had someone who loved me that
Whoa!
much.
Elliotte, thanks for this. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Have a great week. Enjoy the games.
You bet. Oh, we will.